For Creamer Media's Polity, I'm Shannon de Rehove. Researcher and analyst Professor Raymond Suttner joins me for Suttner's View, a weekly commentary on South Africa's political scene. Welcome, Raymond.
Thanks very much.
You have made repeated reference to the need for constitutionalism and legality to be defended. Can you outline some areas where you feel this has been under greatest threat?
Yes, this would not have been a focus of mine in the past, even though I have got an academic legal background. But when I was involved in the struggle, I did not pay much attention to legality. In fact, I spent a lot of my time undermining the legality of the apartheid regime. But we're in a very different situation now, and I think it's very important for people to understand that when you've got a democratic constitution and basically democratic laws, it is important to defend these. And I think people who are on the left have not paid sufficient attention always to the importance of these gains in the context of a situation where black people were rightless. Now they have rights, and these rights are under attack. Now, the level at which we witness the attack on people's rights is in lawless evictions and a number of other cases which we've referred to. But what I want to, the way I'd like to respond to what you've said is to refer to the situation of the current inquiry in the head of the prosecutions unit, NPA, and Mr. Nkosana. And what I think this raises for us is that if there is an inquiry into someone who through due process was appointed, why have they decided to question the person who they themselves appointed? Has it got something to do with who he intends to prosecute? And he's made it his intention to prosecute General Ndluli clear. Is that the reason? Now, this whole question of Ndluli is very interesting in the sense that he was in the security police in the apartheid era, and very strange for someone with that background to be appointed to a top security position, crime intelligence, someone who has access to funds which he does not have to account for in the normal way because they are supposed to be used for witness protection or for secret undercover activities. And part of the allegations against him relate to those funds being siphoned off into the pockets of friends and relatives and so forth. So you have this person appointed and all these allegations, and for various reasons they didn't proceed with the prosecution, and they were through court order obliged to reopen the prosecution. And Nkosana is being suspended. But now let us assume that the claims against him are valid, that he concealed information that he was supposed to have disclosed about a small criminal conviction, if I recall correctly, and alleged murder. He did kill someone, but he was acquitted. Now, if the information is information that renders him unfit to hold this office, why was that not investigated before this moment? And it seems to indicate that the president, when he acted, was acting on the advice of the then Minister of Justice, Jeff Radebe. Why did Radebe not know this information? So that's the one area of concern, that we have a problem We have a problem with policing being selective, but we also have this problem of prosecution being inadequate.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Andries Tassane case where the prosecution appears to have been inadequate in securing a conviction of people who were televised killing him. We also have a question over the appointment of the judiciary. Now, we've discussed how under the present system of constitutional government, the courts, especially the Constitutional Court, play a very important role in ensuring that the Constitution is safeguarded and that where there are gaps in the law, they develop it in accordance with the spirit of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though there is a separation of powers, there is a legislature, judiciary, and an executive, when they appoint judges, they really have to exercise some good faith in this regard. Now, there are disturbing signs whereby you have people attending these sessions, and it appears that the hearings that they hold, inquiring into the judges who are being interviewed for positions, that very few people are actively participating, but they're going to vote for someone or other. And when there is participation, there is a link that I should give you to ConMag on the Judicial Services Commission. In this article, he describes how one of the commissioners, Fatima Chauhan, keeps on asking people who have got human rights law backgrounds, won't this impair their impartiality when they deal with the case between the state and an alleged victim of human rights violation? So what she is suggesting is that the separation of powers is such that the person must be impartial, even in the case of a human rights violation, and a human rights lawyer is seen as a disability. Now, it seems very strange when the struggle against apartheid was a human rights struggle. So what is disturbing about the appointments, including that of the Chief Justice, is that there appears to be a series of attempts to curb the appointment of judges who are really steeped in the new constitution. And this, amongst others, is one of the concerns that I would have.
What can we do then to push back this tide of contempt for the Constitution and legality?
We need to be clear that where this is happening, now I have referred to illegal evictions, and it's not just the ANC. You have the Western Cape government that is doing this as well. And there are other things done in the Western Cape under DA rule, where the way in which informal traders have been treated, the so-called toilet saga, and a number of cases where constitutional rights are being denied in a province that has the capacity, economic capacity to meet those needs and doesn't do so. So it's quite important for us to understand that this is this is a defense of legality against attacks wherever they may come from. But since the ANC governs most of the country, it is the prime focus in terms of denial of constitutionalism. I think it's important that we expect all parliamentarians to stand by the Constitution, but also in discussing unified action of citizens, such as NUMSA has advanced in its call for a united front. There have been other calls, NGO-initiated unity movement, Awetu, the citizens movement, which Bobby Gotzel and James Motlatsi were involved in. We need to put legality and constitutionalism at the center of these demands, and we can't be selective about it. Why have these unity movements or unity initiatives said nothing about the illegal evictions in KZN, when they have said in some cases that the attacks in Lwandle in the Western Cape were wrong. We need to harness our strength, especially the strength of organised labour, behind the defence of constitutionalism and the defence of legality. The rights of labour are based on the Constitution, and an attack on the Constitution is an attack on everyone, including labour. Thank you.
Thank you for your insight.
Thank you.
That was Professor Raymond Suttner speaking about South Africa's political scene.